What's going on, guys, and welcome to mikeybalzz Fishing. Say what's up to Bog. Hey Bog, what are we doing today? Bog won't be coming with us out on the lake because it is hot, but here's what we're doing. We got kind of a cool thing. I finally got my hands on the Ned that I made because you guys have been buying them all and all I had was prototypes and ran out. So finally got the new Ned, the Power NED from Gambler that I helped to design. What we're gonna do is this, like when it comes to new products and things like that, like the process of R&D testing, like it never really ends. Like it's something that you go through and you always refine because things can always be better and better. So what I want to do, plus like I haven't actually yet fished a real production version yet. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go out and we're gonna give this thing a try on some bigger fish. I'm down here in Florida and I've been catching some bigger ones. I don't know if it's gonna pan out because every time I think like it's gonna keep going, it just ends. That's what happened last year. But I've been catching some big ones and it's a great opportunity to test this joker because literally it was made to fish in more of a finesse kind of style, but it can handle bigger fish and handle some brush and some heavier cover. And we're gonna be fishing around some shell, some brush, maybe even tossing around some grass a little bit. But I really wanna put this thing to the test. I wanna put that 3-aught hook to the test. And I want to go catch bigs and try out the production version. So that's what we're going to do today. Make sure to throw a like and subscribe for Bog. You poor guy. You see how he's hiding in the shade? Bog is like a fish. I learned about bass from Bog because he hides in the shade, you know. But make sure to drop a like and subscribe on this video. If you want to learn more about the Power NED, go down into, I'll drop a link down in the description box. But I got to get this boat packed up. We got a little bit of rain yesterday. You can see I'm puddled a little bit. I'm going to get this thing packed up. We're going to get out on the water. Thank you guys for watching. Here we go. So first things first, let me show you how to rig this thing up. I got some 7-inch fat aces. These are Gambler fat aces. I have a 3/8 ounce Power NED. You can use a fat ace, you can use an ace, you can use any stick bait that you like. I don't recommend using the TRD or the elastic style plastics. They're very difficult to screw on to that screw lock. Yeah, we're on some bigger fish and we're in Florida, so I like going with something a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna take this fat ace and I'm gonna cut it right down at the worm sack right there. This is Killer G, the color. It's kind of a mix of green pumpkin, purple with some blue fleck and stuff. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna measure how far down that hook goes. It comes out just below the worm sack right there. So what you're gonna do is just thread that joker on, just like a normal style Ned. This is all pretty darn standard. And then bring it out just below there. Now here's where it gets a little bit different. What you're gonna do is you're going to screw that thing on there. I think it's counterclockwise, and you gotta push the brush guard out as you do it. And you just pass that worm kind of under the hook just like that, and you'll see it kind of screws on. So gotta do it a couple more times here. Let's see here. Yeah, that's about right. All right, so we got her screwed on. It's that simple. And like I said, probably the best feature of this thing, I like the heavier brush guard, but that's what I like the most. You see how it doesn't move? Like when I pull it, like I get so much slippage. That was really one of the main factors in kind of putting this thing together. But that's your setup. I got it on 12-pound fluorocarbon. I do throw it on a little lighter rod. This is a 7-foot medium TI. I like that little bit softer rod, even if I catch bigger fish or I'm fishing some brush and stuff. Unless I'm pitching it to really thick stuff, I like a little softer tip on this guy. Just kind of like what I'd use with a classic kind of Ned style bait. But let's get after it. That's a big. Oh yeah. Big on the Ned. Good test subject. You see, you need to set the hook decent, but it's still a Ned, so you don't need to slam them. That's kind of the gist of, oh my gosh. Yeah, that's a big. Please stay on. I can't do anything. And it was just a little bump. Like, that's all it was, just bump. And she's, oh, don't do that, don't do that. Hardy eating joker. Hooked right at the tip. Come here, come here, come here. Gotcha. How about that, dude? How about that? You like where that hook is? I do. Let's see if she bent it all. That's kind of what I've been wondering about. That right there is the kind of Ned test subject we're looking for. Good test subject. As usual in summer, guys, we want to get these fish released. There's a lot of guys that during the summer, and I'm probably going to get some hate for this, but they put all 5 fish in the live well and they go for that mega bag hold at the end of the day. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. These fish, like in the summer, it's hard on them, even if they're out deep, especially if they're up shallow. And getting them released immediately, especially if they're out deep because they have a big air bladder, is the most important thing. So we're gonna get this fish released super quick, get her back in, and then let's take a look at that Ned. Oh, dude, just Mondos on a Ned. I love that Ned, dude. All right, go your home. That's so beautiful. All right, let's have a look at that Ned and see kind of how she held up. So I ripped the worm off. It looks like the hook's still straight, brush guard's intact, I think. I mean, I like the results thus far. Like, that's literally the fish we were looking for to kind of like test this thing out, because I wanted to get a bigger bite. I wanted to tug on it. I'm still using that medium action rod, but you know, I put the hammer to her. I did run the drag, but I really wanted to see what that hook would do. It's an easy 6.5 pound fish. I wanted to see what that hook would do because it's made for heavy cover and it's made for bigs. Really? So when I'm fishing this Ned, I'm fishing it pretty traditional. You can do a lot of things with this thing. You can pitch it, you can skip at the docks, but when you're dragging it, I mean, really, oh God, that was a bite. Oh, stay on there. She's running straight at the boat. But I'm just dragging it and just trying to keep contact with the bottom. And then they eat it. Oh. Did not get a good hook in her. Did not. This is kind of cool because we always wonder what they're eating. I just snagged this guy. Look how beautiful he is. It's big old brim, dude. And that's exactly what they're eating. We're gonna let him go so a bass can eat him. Eat him. But that's what that Ned mimics, you know, when you're throwing a jig, a lot of things, dude, but that's what it is. There she is. That feels like a decent one. Tough to tell. Oh yeah. Come here. Get in here. It's a nice 2.5, 3 pounder, but we want her mama. We want her mama. Another quick tip with the Ned, you don't always need a brush guard, but I prefer it. Even if I'm fishing like open water and shell, you never know what's down there and I'd rather not lose the jig. But one thing I'd recommend doing if you are fishing more open water, I've already clipped this one down just a hair, but just take a little bit off that brush guard, just so it kind of like skin hooks. Yeah, it's like skin, that kind of hurts. It's like skin hooks me. The other thing you can do too, I'm gonna leave this on there because we are fishing around brush piles and around cover, but what you can do is you can actually take a strand and bend it back and forth and actually remove that strand. So you can take out like 3 or 4 strands and thin out that brush guard so it sets up perfectly for like whatever situation you're in. Now if you're fishing the heavy stuff, don't even screw around with it. Just tie it on and get to it. But if you're in a little more sparser stuff, or if you have fish, spotted bass are a great example, that have a little harder mouth and you need just to get a little more hook in them, I'd recommend thinning that thing out and just clipping it down just a hair. There she is. Oh God. Ooh. There we go. Oh dear. Oh gosh. fish on, and it's the big one we were looking for. Oh God. Oh God, there's another one with her, dude. Stay out of the trolling motor. Stay out of the trolling motor. Come here, come here, come here. You are the test we needed. You are the test we needed. I got you. Okay. 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 Oh, the old Nedster comes through. Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, gentlemen, that was the test we were looking for. That's a big one. Oh yeah. But I want to get her released real quick. But what I really wanted to do, look at that girl. They're so fat. Let's let you go before the storm comes in. Go back to your home. So, craziness is there was another 6.5 pounder like with her. Like, yeah. Hashtag on them. But this was a good test for the Ned. I really wanted to see, you know, we played around with it, caught a bunch of 3-pounders early on, but I really wanted to take it to kind of land of the bigs and see what it would do. And we hooked that girl, and she was hooked. Tore up my bait a little bit, but we didn't open up the hook, we didn't bend it, and I put quite a bit of pressure on her. I'll tell you what though, as I play more and more with this thing, I started off the video telling you that I'd run that 7-foot medium TI. I think I'm gonna play with a little heavier rod. I'm just getting the impression that, you know, the stoutness of this hook as well as the brush guard, I think I might need to go to a medium heavy and play around with that. So I'm gonna play with rods a little. It's always a process, like I say. But we went back to the Fat Ace, the 7-inch, and that's my juice when you're around bigs or during the summer when they're eating bigger baits. But that was proof of concept. That's exactly what we were looking for. And it was fun. So let's wrap this thing up. You know, there's so many ways to fish a Ned. I think that's why I like it, and you can use it in so many different situations, and especially with this guy, with the Power Ned, it kind of opens up a lot more opportunities when you're like, ooh, Ned, I don't know, you know, like thicker cover, heavier docks. That's the biggest thing. I can't wait for spring and skipping docks, dude, because this joker is going to be sweet. But one thing that I think I talk about a lot and I don't show you guys enough is I'm obsessed with this Mag Ned concept, taking sort of the Ned and all the sort of minuscule, like mini kind of aspects to it and magnifying it, making it magnum, going big with it. So I got some of my bait picks right here, and I'm going to run through them real quick. One thing I do want to remind you, number one, with this Ned, there's a thicker hook on it, so you're not going to put it on your regular Ned tackle. You know, you're going to have to use a little heavier rod, whether it's spinning, whether it's a bait caster, medium heavy, a little bit stiffer, but what you're going to do is you're going to have better hookups, you're going to land more fish, and you're going to be able to put this thing where it really doesn't belong. But let's get to these baits, because I love talking tackle. The Mag Ned concept is pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple. You just take, you know, what you'd put on your average Ned and you upscale it, you upsize it, and that's what this thing does. It's a bigger hook, it's got a little bit bigger keeper, so you do have to use a bigger bait. But some of the standards that I like to go with, Fat Ace, 6-inch Fat Ace. It's a little bit upscale stick bait compared to what you normally run into. All of these I'm going to start by cutting them down, probably like around the worm sack right there. But Fat Ace, a little bit longer, a little bit bigger, and you can see it's a little bit wider too. And that helps to accommodate that keeper on there, that twist lock keeper. Now, if you're on bigs, like we were today, 7-inch Fat Ace. Wider, longer, length really doesn't matter. That's what she said. That was a terrible joke, dude. I should cut that out of the video. But cut it at the worm sack, and it's really the width. And JT kind of taught me this. Like, sometimes these fish, they want a bigger profile bait, but they don't want all the length. They want kind of something stubby, something hefty that they can eat, but not super long. And that's where the 7-inch Fat Ace comes in. Summer, fall, when bait and forage is bigger, this can be a go-to. And don't be intimidated, even if you have, you know, your bigs are like 3 to 4 pounds in the lake. You know, we've seen that Nichols Meg spoon, dude, like 1.25 pounds, 3/4 pound fish smaller than the spoon, eat it. Don't be afraid of going with bigger baits, even if you're on a body of water that has smaller fish. You'd be amazed, they don't see that stuff, so showing them something bigger, because they do eat giant stuff, oftentimes triggers fish that you probably didn't even know were in there. The other thing too that I like to do, and I don't have the other one out, but this is a Gambler Burner Craw, one of my favorite colors, Ghost Gill for clear water, semi-stained water. You know, it has kicking appendages on it. So the water's pretty clear today. I'm not really worried about it, but back in winter, if you go back a bunch of videos, I was down here with my buddy Caleb from Bass Quest. He has a YouTube channel. You can go check him out. Absolute hammer on Chickamauga. But we experienced some slightly dirty water, as well as a lot of current and a lot of wind-driven current. And basically what we found is those kicking appendages, I don't know if they slowed the bait down, or if they moved with the current, or if they just displaced more water because the water was a bit dingy. I don't know. All I know is he caught like 2 8-pounders on this thing, and it was really the key, because I was throwing a standard fat ace, like a 6-inch fat ace that I had cut down, and he was picking up this guy and just schooling me. So sometimes if you have a little bit of stain to the water, if you have a little bit more current, this guy is the key. And I'm going to throw something else at you too, and it's something that we kind of experienced today to an extent. What you can do, so this thing comes in an 1/8, a 1/4, and a 3/8. My experience with the Ned is you don't need that much weight to get down, but you can play with the sink rates, and as well as like the depth you can fish it at. I'll fish this 3/8 down to like 25 feet, unless there's like a bunch of current or something like that. And one way you can do that is going with either, so this is the fat ace, go down to an ace, like the 5-inch. If you put a little more streamlined bait on that, this thing, dude, it's super head weighted. It goes straight down. It's just a question of how much bait or appendages you have on it. You can put smaller stuff on it and it's going to get down there, and it's going to get down there deep. So play around with your bait sizes a little, depending on the depth that you actually want to target, because that's one way that you can actually throw a lighter bait in deeper water, which can be key sometimes. The last one I'm going to show you, this is a Demiki Stinger. This is a little bit bigger one. I like this sickle tail on here. I like to mix it up. The ace or the fat ace and the Demiki Stinger are pretty comparable, but it has that little sickle tail. I don't know if I think it like twitches like a bunch. It's really good in a little bit colder water temps, but this is the bigger version. There's also a smaller one, but just having something that really shakes. I think across the board on all these guys is they're a little bit denser plastic. It doesn't mean they're harder, but they have a little bit denser kind of plastic to them, and it causes them, you see like how much they wag or they vibrate. That vibration, I think, is what one of the big keys to the Ned is, because it's a do nothing bait. So when you're not doing anything with that bait, you want it to move kind of on its own and have its own little character, I guess, or personality, its own little kind of shiver or shake, and that's really the key. But I love throwing a Ned. You can catch them anywhere, dude. I've caught them up north, I've caught them in Alabama, I've caught them in Florida, and this is just going to open more doors. If you guys got any questions about it or rigging, or if you have any recommendations on baits, I'm always into that. But give this joker a try. I'll put links to all this stuff down at Tackle Warehouse. But the Power Ned, dude, like, try some mag bait, some Mag Ned style stuff. It's a fun way to catch them. It's something that they haven't seen a bunch yet, and the beautiful part about this is you can put it where it doesn't belong, and we've really kind of stopped that slippage issue. That was the biggest issue I've been having with a Ned. But check it out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for subscribing and supporting the channel. You know, it's a grassroots channel, and that means your support goes a long way, and it means a lot to me, dude. Like, I love making these videos and seeing your comments and seeing your interactions and talking to you guys via messages. It's fun for me. I love fishing. I will fish whether I shoot videos or not, because I love this game. It does something for me that nothing else does, and I hope that's the same for you. So tight lines, hit that like and subscribe button. We will check you back out on the water maybe, or maybe just talking tackle. But till then, we're out.